Hi kiddos, it's time to do some art. We're still being inspired by fall and autumn because I love the colors so much. Today we're going to do some trees. Here's your materials. You need some paint. You need one color, any color you want, and then you need black and white paint. You could also use watercolors. It would work. It might be a little harder. Acrylic the wet paint seems to be a lot better. You need yarn or string. You want it a little bit thicker. This is a little thin. You could go thicker than mine. Paintbrush, scissors for the yarn, and I have tape to hold the yarn in place. You also need I have paper here. You could do paper or a canvas. I don't have 100 canvases to use with all my students at school, so I'm just giving them paper, but I'm putting it on a hard surface. So I used a clipboard. You could use a piece of cardboard. You could use, I also have some harder wood. You could use anything, but you need a harder surface because we're gonna actually wrap yarn around it. So if you just have paper, it's gonna squish it. If you wanna get a canvas for this, you're more than welcome to, but they can be a little expensive. Or you could just do it on cardboard, just paint it white first because we want a white background. We're actually gonna do birch trees, which are white. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our yarn and I'm gonna attach it to the back of the board. All right, just to hold it in place, okay? And what we're gonna do is you're gonna just wrap the yarn. You don't wanna do it too hard, or you don't wanna pull it too much because then the yarn will be very thin. So you just wanna wrap it as many times as you want. And you can do it diagonals, you could do it vertical, not horizontal, so we're gonna stick either vertical or diagonal. And you can do it as many times as you want. This is gonna represent our trees. So every time you have the yarn go around again, it represents one of the trees. Sorry, I'm getting all caught up trying to do this on camera. So I'm gonna keep wrapping. Sorry, it's off camera. And wrapping. All right, there, that one's a little too far. All right, and then I'm gonna be done there. And then I'm going to take another piece of tape. I'm going to attach the yarn to it to hold it in place. All right. All right. This is going to be a 2-week project, so you're going to have the same video for 2 weeks, so feel free to take your time. Now we're ready to do our paint. We are going to do a color scheme today. We are going to do a monochromatic color scheme. Mono meaning one, and I put some pictures and some videos about a monochromatic. So what we're going to do, mono means one, so we're gonna use one color. And I've done 3 different dots of red. You could pick red, blue, yellow, any primary, secondary color. And then we're gonna make one tint and one shade. Tints are lighter and shades are darker. So what do you think I'm gonna add to it to make it lighter? If you said white, you're right. So I'm gonna put white in this one. White, you could add a little bit more. You could keep adding white until you like the tint. You could make a tint that's just a little bit lighter, or you can make a tint that's really light. All right, and this one's going to be a shade. A shade is darker. What do you think we're gonna add to make it darker? Black. Now with black, you have to be a little more careful. All right, and I think I added too much. So what I'm gonna do is really quickly scoop some of it out. Okay, and then I'm going to see if I like the color. So I'm gonna mix this one first. And that's shade. You see how it's turning it a darker red? Actually, I like that. I think I'll take a little bit more. All right, and there's my shade of red. And then over here, I'm gonna do my tint of red. Remember, tint is lighter, so it's the one with the white. So I'm gonna mix it up. All right. I'm gonna pause and get a paper towel. I'll be right back, kiddos. All right, I'm back with a dry air brush. All right, so I'm not gonna use a lot of water because this is wet paint. But when you paint, we're not gonna paint strokes. We're going to sponge paint it. So we're gonna go up and down, and we're gonna do the 3 different colors. You wanna start at the top with your darkest color, or you can start at the bottom with your lightest color, up to you. So I'm gonna start with my dark color, and do you see I'm going up and down and up and down? It's like what you would do if you're stenciling something. We don't want to go back and forth because we would move our yarn around and that would take our trees away. You want to cover all your all your paper with your color. Of course, I have this in the way, so maybe I'll just move it up to make sure I get underneath it. There we go. All right, and then I'm gonna do the middle. It's my lighter red. It's actually my middle one, not my shade. It's my hue that I started with. Just looks a little bit different. There's not a lot of change in between it. All right, and then we're gonna do our tint on the bottom. All right, and once you're done covering your entire paper, you're going to leave it to dry. I guess I never cut the yarn off. You want to cut the yarn at the end. And you're gonna let it dry. And watch this, kiddos. I actually did one earlier. I didn't use a monochromatic color scheme. I ended up doing more of an analogous color scheme, but then I changed my mind when I wanted to teach you guys about it. So I'm going to reveal it by taking off the yarn. So what you have to wait till it's all dry. So if you want to stop the video and wait till next week when it's all dry, come back to next week's video. What I'm doing is I'm taking off all the string, all the yarn. Almost done, kiddos, almost done. Stay with me, stay with me. All right, and then there we go. Those are my birch trees. Birch trees are all white, hopefully. You've seen them before. If not, they're very skinny white trees. All right, and let me get my Sharpie and I'll be right back, kiddos. All right, guys, the last thing you need is a Sharpie or a black marker. And what birch trees have is they have actually little tiny black lines around them. So with my birch trees, I'm just gonna quickly go through them and put some little black lines all up and down my yarn. Birch trees are all different, so some could have more, some could have less. If yours are a little bit bigger, mine are very skinny. My yarn was very skinny. If yours yarn or string was a little bit bigger, you can make your lines a little bit longer. Mine have to be very small because my yarn was very skinny. All right, guys, I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna come back and show you my finished artwork. All right, guys, and there it is. There is my birch forest made with beautiful colors. Remember, always artists, you want to sign your picture. If your parents love it, you could even date it so they can keep it forever. Hope you guys had fun. Remember, this should take 2 weeks, so it's going to be the same video for 2 weeks. Bye, guys.